Hey, how are you? Right, our first skill is the personal code of conduct, which is being impeccable with your word, don't take anything personal, never assume anything, and always try your best. What I wanted to explain now, right, is that I want to give you an idea of three different stories. And the first story is a story about don't shoot the dog. Okay, and with that story, a mother and father were in a kitchen and they were arguing. But they never sorted the argument before they went their separate ways. So the father went to work, and the mother, on her way to work, dropped her two 16-year-old kids into school. Okay? And what had happened is that when the father had went to work, he had another argument with one of his co-workers, and that escalated. So that co-worker then had another argument with another worker, etc., and it went through the whole day. The mother had an argument with the two kids in the car, and when she dropped them off at school, right, they went into school and they started causing a bit of havoc in school as well by trying to find arguments from other students. The mother also went to work and she had an argument with somebody else. Okay? So the moral of the story really, right, is that when someone is arguing with you, don't take it personal. Don't judge them. Don't be angry because of it. Don't assume their behaviour, but you can assume your behaviour, and you always do your best. Now, what had happened at the father's company is that one guy was going home and he had contact with the father, and he escalated it when he left the company. He saw a dog and he kicked the dog, and the dog bit someone on the street. Now, everyone noticed the bad behaviour of the dog, but they never noticed the bad behaviour of everyone else through the whole day. When you do this personal code of conduct, right, that allows you to reassess you and your behaviour. So this is constantly going to be work in progress from you. That's the first story. The next story was a guy, and it can be a girl as well, was invited to a house party by his friends. They told him that they would meet him at the house party at 8 o'clock. He arrived at 8 o'clock, but none of his friends were there, but the house party was full. Straight away when he walked into the house party, there was a guy in the corner slagging him, putting him down, belittling him, giving him a hard time at the party. And this guy, right, was kind of one of the tough guys in the school or whatever, and he was giving him a hard time. So the guy then, right, left the house party because he was alone. There was no one else to support him. So he went home, he opened the door of his house, he never turned the hall light on, walked into the sitting room, never turned the light on, and just sat on the couch by himself. Now, the question is, how would you feel if something like that happened to you? Mainly the feelings when you haven't got the personal code of conduct done, or you're not working on it with yourself to improve you in a personal development type of way. You will feel angry, you will feel confused, you will be giving yourself a hard time, you will feel that you're not good enough, you will feel ugly, you will feel horrible, and you will be looking for revenge. Now, all of these emotions, right, have dealt with that uncontrollable. But you're not meant to be dealing with the uncontrollable, because the uncontrollable has got nothing to do with you. The person that behaves badly, you look at them that way and say, that behaviour is yours. I'm not taking it in. Because once you let the uncontrollable in, what happens is that you start to drive yourself crazy then. So it's important when you look at being impeccable with your word, never take anything personal, never assume anything, and always try your best, that this is a code for you to improve your thinking and your thought process about you. Okay? And finally, the last story. A mother had a hard time at work. She had an argument with her boss, but when she left work, right, she came home and her daughter was in the house. She was down at the end of the hall, and what she was doing is she was singing. Now, her daughter was a good singer, but her mother walked in, and her mother was completely annoyed about the day she had and shouted down at her daughter, "Shut up that stupid singing." and the daughter stopped singing, but she never sang again. And the reason she never sang again is because she took it personal. Okay? So she didn't understand the personal code of conduct. But once you start learning the personal code of conduct, right, you understand, even before I learned it, right? And if someone was giving me a hard time, I would probably argue back. I would be in bad form, right? I couldn't deal with other people or whatever because of it. But then when you start to realise, right, that behaviour is not mine, and I'm not taking ownership of it as well, right? I'm only controlling my own behaviour. And then everything changes. So, for instance, if that argument in the kitchen escalated, it's because no one else understands the personal code of conduct. If that argument, if that bad behaviour of the mother and the child about the singing, if none of them understand the personal code of conduct, maybe that child would never sing again. If that guy, right, didn't understand bad behaviour and just left the party and wasn't affected, if he did understand bad behaviour, he would leave the party and not be affected. Well, then you see, right, that's all about the personal code of conduct. So for you to learn the personal code of conduct is absolutely massive for your whole life. So I will leave it at there, right? I want you to focus on you. Okay? Speak to you soon.